Okay, hello. Another video on Classy UI because I want to show you one of the final big API changes we are making. And I'm just going to show it to you first, and then I'll go through why we're making this change. So the change we are making is, for example, I want to compose a button here. Now, typically you were using a string here, but we are actually removing this. And the reason is that we want to make the developer experience as good as possible. And even though strings kind of look nice, in terms of getting help from the IntelliSense, it's not the best experience. One reason being that if you type something and then you go back, you don't have the IntelliSense anymore. You have to actually remove the quotes and then go back in. Also, it's limited on like the width or the length of the class name, so it can quickly be hidden. Yes. And then there's a third thing, and that is that we can't introduce any documentation on strings in the IntelliSense. So what we're doing now is that you use the C factory as normal, but then you also have some properties. So you have like color, cursor, display, and all this stuff ready for you. And then you can choose it, and then you dot, and you get the actual tokens related to that property. As you can see, you can start to see that we actually have some documentation here as well. Okay, so first of all, what this does is it separates the technical property from the token. So you need to know as a developer, what is the property I want to work with? And then you go into the actual token. And I think this is an important separation, and it's good to have like a clear separation of it. Because then when you have chosen the property, then you only have the tokens related to that property, instead of having this insanely big list. And to say the least, like this is insanely nice. Like the typing documentation you get there is amazing. Like you even get like a CSS example here. And what we're also doing is that we are making all the tokens uppercase, meaning it's treated as a constant. And that means that VS Code actually treats that property differently than other properties. So you get a really nice separation of the property itself being color and the token. And then we can go like background color, blah, blah, blah. And as you can see, I write very little here. So this is also the other benefit, is that you kind of just dot into everything. It's a really nice experience. And then when I save it, I'm using Prettier, so you typically get it in a list like this. Yeah, and when you hover it, you will also get information about what they do. What I didn't show you here is that we also have, I think it's on box sizing. Yeah, so we also have the possibility to type doc the actual property, so you can see what it does. And then you can also go to Mozilla to actually see the documentation for it, which is also really nice. What we're also exploring is that, for example, you can create a custom description for the tokens, which means that the designer can actually explain to you, for example, blue 500, and you would have text here from the designer describing, okay, what is this color? What does it mean? Where do we use it? And stuff like that. And you can even link to, if you have your design system online somewhere, you could actually link to other documentation. So that's really, really cool. So kind of like how do we defend this change? Like maybe you love these strings and you don't like that you have the C here and this stuff, but the point is that we want to create a really good developer experience, and syntax isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is the exploration. Like we want to put the whole design system at your fingertips. As you dot into these properties, we want the design system to be there. And that is why we want to do this. Another reason that's not related to this exploration and developer experience is that now we also have the possibility to make this run as a runtime thing, like without the plugin. Like what's kind of silly about that idea is that you actually have to have the whole configuration in there to actually produce the class names. But the point is that what if you're just running a Node server and you're using templates, for example, and you just want to produce HTML statically on the server? Well, we have the ability to allow you to do that now. And what's really cool is that you have this design system, you have some template engine on the server, for example, handlebars, and you just use the class UI API, and the resulting HTML will actually include only the CSS required to display that specific page. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, for me, I've been playing around with this. The developer experience, like being able to just type C dot, you find whatever you want and you dot into it. For me, it's a better experience than the strings. It's also much more clear when you look at the syntax, what are properties, what are tokens, and of course the type documentation. It's just amazeballs. So yeah, this is not released yet because I've only been working on the typing, and Fabrice is working on the actual implementation to make this work. So, but it should be out pretty soon, but I just wanted to give you like a preview of this. Okay, if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know, and I hope you like it.